Hey everybody, my name is Oshun the Great, and welcome to my beautiful channel. This is my new dress. Check it out. It's pretty dope. Really sexy, actually. But today I kind of wanted to touch on interracial dating because I've been putting up a lot about race because I am pro-black and I consider myself a feminist and an activist. So I post a lot of stuff about racism, interracial dating, feminism, rape culture, all these kind of things. And I understand that these topics can be pretty serious for a lot of people. So, as a disclaimer, before we start, you can go ahead and click out at any moment, and you don't have to agree, obviously, but this is my freedom of speech. And this is what I've come to learn so far. And maybe this can help other people in their journey of interracial dating or just their outlook as far as race in America, things like that. But I'm just going to go ahead and say how I feel about this. So if you've seen my interracial dating, I touched on a lot of topics that I deal with as far as interracial dating. It's not always easy. Like for me growing up, and it's different for a lot of people, dating someone of the opposite race was always deemed exotic. And a lot of times being a Black woman or Black in general in America, we are taught self-hatred. So we tend to want things that are opposite of us because we think it's better. Like white is bright or white is right kind of thing. And so for being conditioned that way and going through so many heartaches within my own community, not really understanding, not really loving myself at the time fully, I started to veer towards dating only white men. And I'm being so vulnerable with you guys, so bear with me. But the thing about that, the more I became pro-Black or learning about the issues within race in America, things like that, the more I became outspoken, the more I understand how social conditioning works. My outlook on dating white men started to change. So it was no longer like, I mean, I was still like dating online and stuff. I was still approaching it like, okay, maybe the white men will be better. But not long ago, I was like, I started to question that outlook because I started noticing that, and this is not everybody, everyone is totally different. And there are interracial dating couples who are successful and they don't have these issues. But for me, being such a pro-Black feminist woman in America, it is very hard for me to just submit to anyone or allow certain things to happen in relationships, especially interracial. If something is said or done, I will call the person out on it and things like that. So learning about things and dating white guys, I kind of learned that it was the same pattern of not being treated like humanely all the time. And even if I was, in a sense, because my latest relationship was very, it was more respectable than a lot of them. But not being, I noticed that in a lot of relationships, you're either treated as like some exotic thing that needs to be captured. And once it's captured, it's like, the allure goes away, or sorry guys, I'm trying to get my mind right. It just didn't seem like I was treated with the same respect as a lot of other cultures would be treated, like other white women are held to the same regards, or like, since a lot of guys I dated don't deal with race, it's not a big deal to them. And it kind of bothers me because race is a big deal to me because I have to deal with it on a daily basis. I just went to a store where I got followed around because someone thought I was going to steal, like shit like that. And for me, I have to date someone where I can feel relatable to and who understands and cares for my feelings as far as race. I don't like the feeling of, oh, I don't see color or I don't this and that. Like it has to be like you're on my team. And dating white men or dating interracially, I don't get a lot of that connection. Like I feel like I'm being supported in that sense. So that was the downfall for me as far as interracial dating. And at this point, being single again and transitioning from a situation that I am now, I'm trying to get back to my roots and myself and love who I am unconditionally. And when a man comes, he comes. It's not to say that, oh, I'm just done for dating white guys for good. It's just I won't pursue them as I was before. I won't go out my way because I think they're better, because no one is really better per se. Like you just have to find someone to connect with you on the same morals and levels of that you do. It's not saying that white men are the devil or no shit like that. It's just it doesn't mesh well with me lately. Now, it's not to say that a white man will come along and be consciously aware of some of the issues I go through, and that may be, totally fine. But again, like for women, especially Black women who may be in this mindset, it's just like a fair warning of like keeping your eyes open, and you don't have to settle for like things that make you uncomfortable, or like if you don't feel like you're treating to the highest regard. Because the things I ask for, and I think very highly of myself, the things I ask for is like the basics. But sometimes we don't always get the basics because we're considered less than, whether it's consciously or subconsciously. Like, for example, I feel like in certain situations, since like white privilege exists, white women may have a higher chance of being taken care of than Black women, for example. But it all depends on the man, obviously. But it's like it's like certain things that people can get away with that like Black women won't be able to get away with per se. And I feel like there's just, I don't know, it's just an imbalance there still that really bothers me. So moving forward, I don't know, like my dating has not always just been white men. I've always been into like Spanish, other people too. But it's like lately it's just been white men and like even before I met my latest boyfriend, I thought we were soulmates and things like that. Like, I was reconsidering like not dating outside my race just because it's like taking a step back and trying to reevaluate your actions and why you do the things you do. So I'm in that kind of phase where it's like, well, maybe I should reevaluate why I'm chasing these kind of men, especially if they're not really vibing with me on a spiritual level, an emotional level, mental level. If they're not really vibing with me in those means, and especially you don't ever want to be in a position where, like, it's not to say interracial dating is like you're dating the oppressor or anything like that, but you don't want to be in a situation where you feel like that's the case. Like you're having sex with someone who you feel is treating you as lesser than. So it's like you really have to reevaluate your situation and like, like, is it worth it? Is it worth having sex with this person and they don't see me as this on the same wavelength or the same page? But yeah, that's my little thoughts lately. Again, it's not to bash white men. It's just for me, I'm just speaking out loud because like someone else may be going through this, and I just want to take a step back and reevaluate myself and my culture and what's important to me. But yeah, at the end of the day, you know who you are. And when it comes to these kind of situations, you just have to trust yourself and your instincts and your intuition. Nobody is ever like, well, I won't say that because like for me, I feel like no one is ever innately bad per se. They more so have qualities about them that are like either conditioned unconsciously or like there's ignorance. There's a lot of factors that factor into these kind of situations. But yeah, to each his own. Like you learn, you grow, and you progress forward. But yeah, with that being said, hope you guys have some kind of insight with this. If you have any comments on this topic or you want me to discuss more on it, feel free to comment below. Be dope, be you unapologetically. Peace.